That's a great catch. The Gold Glover hauls it in. He leaps up and makes the catch. Oh my goodness. Do not run on that man there. He dives and makes the catch. Stephen Kwan could not have played that any better. He leaps up and makes an incredible catch against the wall. That's my man with the Gold Glove out there. Oh, what a catch he just made. There's your Gold Glove left fielder. And prior to tonight's ballgame, Stephen Kwan officially received his 4th consecutive Gold Glove award from Rawlings. That's going to make for a really nice trophy room someday.
He may have to add an addition after the next couple of years as well to that trophy room.
All right, downstairs right now to Andre Knott.
You know, Kwani just asked me, do I like doing these type of interviews? I was going to ask you, what's the difference in playing center field and left field now that you've done it a little bit?
Yeah, I think the angles are the most important thing. I feel like I've been saying that all year. A little more ground to carry out there as well. But it's not so bad. I mean, same positionings. We got the cards. We got JT kind of holding it down with that. But same game, just a little bit different angles.
Different angles. All right, the one first question I was going to ask is, how do you remember every handshake that you got with every guy in here?
I don't know, man. I kind of go autopilot, and, you know, you kind of just mirror what they do. My first game, I kind of messed it up. So you kind of just roll with it and just kind of just follow the trends.
All right, as Bobby goes out there, I'll walk with you for a second. What is going through your mind? What are some of the things you need to be working about, thinking about right now as you're going to be ready to play center field behind Bobby?
Just see where the sun is, make sure we understand that, see where the wind's at, see who I got in left and right field, make sure I'm having a good communication. I mean, that's really it.
All right, what are you going to do with that 4th Gold Glove?
Oh, put it up in the cribbo.
Back to you guys.
That's the first cribbo reference we've had.
He needs to buy a bigger cribbo.
I love it. Now there goes Kwani out to his, I won't call it his new home because he's still the resident of left field, but he's renting in center field. It's his winter home.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Check this out. Some of these handshakes that we're talking about. I've been there. That's something that's not uncommon.
Well, these are all
everybody
easy.
has handshakes.
These are
those are bullpen guys. They don't count anyway.
Let's see. He's got some of the guys have.
We got to take it easy
one.
on the leg there. So just make sure.
Well, Tanner Bybee going to get the start tonight for the Guardians, hoping he can get his season back on track.
Yeah, I think tonight's the perfect night for Tanner Bybee. That, you know, you could be going through a little something right now this time of the season. For me, though, it's about his fastball command. If he can control that inner third of the plate to right-handed hitters with that 2-seamer, with the 4-seamer, we heard Stephen Vogt talk about this before the game today. It opens up that outer half of the plate, which is where he really wants to live and get you out. You attack that early part, or excuse me, you attack that inner part early. It really opens up that further away part for a little bit more chase.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Baltimore Orioles for manager Craig Albernaz. Gunnar Henderson, the leadoff man. Taylor Ward, then Pete Alonso. Dylan Beavers gets the start as the DH hitting cleanup. Samuel Basayo, the catcher, is hitting 5th. Then Leody Taveras, Colton Cowser, Kobe Mayo, and Jeremiah Jackson batting 9th.
Well, defensively for the Guardians tonight, Angel Martinez in left field. Stephen Kwan renting that space out there in center. Chase DeLauder in right field. You got Jose Ramirez at his customary third base position. Daniel Schneemann tonight at shortstop. Juan Brito at second. Reese Hoskins there at first base. And Bo Naylor behind the plate.
There's the umpires tonight. Nate Tomlinson will call the balls and strikes. Mark Wegner is your crew chief. Bruce Dreckman is at second. Carlos Torres is down at third. 64 degrees, our game time temperature. Just a few lazy clouds overhead. Otherwise, a beautiful night for baseball.
Certainly is.
Game 2 of this 4-game series. First ball swinging. Gunnar Henderson lines it to left. And a late break, but a catch made by Angel Martinez. I wonder if he barreled that ball up to the point where it was knuckling a little bit on Angel.
I think he thought it wasn't hit as hard as it actually was. That ball was scolded pretty well. And Angel did a good job of not just immediately giving up on it. It looked like he wanted to kind of play it back, and then he realizes, wait a second, I may be able to snag this bad boy. Overall, did a good job of keeping that thumb underneath the glove, finishing out the play. One pitch, one out. You like that.
Taylor Ward, batting right-handed, takes a strike. Taylor Ward and Pete Alonso, back-to-back right-handed hitters after the left-handed leadoff batter.
and then 4 straight left-handed bats, followed by 2 right-handed hitters at the bottom of the order. Interesting in that Craig Alvarez didn't go left, right, left, right. He didn't try to break him up that way. He's kind of got them clustered together.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with, how we kind of saw him put together his lineup last night with Parker Messick. Not wanting to really mess with too much. I think there is something to having a little bit of continuity to that heart of the lineup, and I think you're seeing Craig really take advantage of that.
Taylor Ward, the veteran, they picked him up in the offseason. 23 hits, tied for 5th in the American League. Sky high pop up, shallow center. In comes Stephen Kwan. He's there, 2 down.
Well, Matty, Chris, pitchers usually are pretty close to the vest when it comes to dress, but right there you can see some pink, that's pink, shoelaces in Tanner Bybee's shoes tonight. He did a gender reveal for his older brother who's all watching back at home. Mr. Bybee, I know you're going to become a grandchild. I think you now know.
Let's go, Scott.
There it is, boys and girls. Right. Congratulations to the Bybees.
Awesome. Thanks, Andre, and congratulations to Tanner and his family and his brother. That's been a new thing, the whole gender reveal.
It really has. Yeah, it's cool. I saw yesterday, I can't remember the catcher, but he had a pink arm sleeve on, and that was what got the starting pitcher tipped off to what he was having.
Dre, if I remember right, Kwani did that last year for David Fry when he was at home.
That is right, yes. Yeah. Chris, I wonder if a pitcher would want to look back to a catcher and tell him that when he's pitching in a game.
Now the 1-1 to Big Pete Alonso. Man, this guy is a presence. He's one of those guys, I'm sure from your perspective, when you're back there behind the plate, he fills up the box.
He certainly does fill up the batter's box.
I tell you, we don't get to see him all the time. The way he defended yesterday opened my eyes.
Pretty special, wasn't it? Must be that camo he's got on his glove.
2-1 pitch, bang, foul.
You've been loving that camo since you saw it.
You said it was hunting season yesterday, so you got me all excited.
That's all I had to say to get you going.
And you can see there 3 seasons of 40-plus home runs and 100-plus RBIs.
Gamer.
Absolute gamer. Always wants to be in there. 435 consecutive games played. Again, now the 2nd longest current streak in the majors. It's another first baseman there as well, who's leading that currently in Matt Olson.
Bybee with the 2-2. As I said last night, getting Pete Alonso, it didn't come cheap. 5 years and $155 million was the commitment Baltimore made to landing him. Starting to pick it up, though. 5 doubles in his last 11 games. Now the 3-2. Hit hard. Left field, Martinez will hold Alonso to a 2-out single here in the first.
With that power that you're talking about, you will take a single to left field, and this wasn't the best executed pitch. This ball did stay up in the strike zone. Where that pitch missed, you'll take that result any day of the week.
4 2-strike hits allowed by Tanner in his last start. And when I asked Stephen Vogt about it before the game, he said it wasn't pitch selection, it was just execution.
Again, he did say he worked a ton in between starts here, between his last and now this one, on some mechanical adjustments and trying to find, that right arm slot to feel where, okay, I know exactly where I need this to be, and trust that that ball is going to end up where you need it to.
Swung out and missed. Boy, that was a really nice changeup. And you can see Dylan Beavers stepping back going, now I have to worry about that too.
Look at how the ball just comes off of his hand. You don't see that thing really fading that much. That's a little bit more of a 4-seam action type changeup where the ball is spinning from bottom to top with a little bit of backspin on it. Good pitch there too.
Another changeup, but that one he lays off and it just missed. Came back with it again, tripled up. All right, if you've called 3 in a row, you're not going to go for a 4th straight.
Generally, no. Yeah, and in this situation, again, you're trying to stay away from getting yourself into a little bit of trouble here early on. Probably just going to attack with a two-seamer away. Hopefully he beats something like this in the ground.
Went to the fastball, but it was fouled back, and now a full count.
Again, a pitch like that can give you a ton of confidence as a pitcher. You found yourself in a hitter's count 3-1. That's about the best count there is as a hitter to be in. You throw a good executed fastball, it's a foul ball. You know you're right back into it.
Pete Alonso will be off on the 3-2 pitch. And a defensive swing.
Again, and it shows you the type of confidence he has in himself, that even though he may not be executing it where he really wants to be right now, the fact that he's throwing another changeup 3-2, I think kind of shows you where he's at mentally.
Does he break out a curveball to really lock him up here? The 3-2. Nope, stayed right with the heater, and another foul ball. So a good battle between Dylan Beavers and Tanner Bybee here in the first. This will be the 8th pitch of this encounter.
I think if you're Tanner here, you have options, but he has been very defensive. Definitely don't want to walk him here.
He did. Ball 4, and there are 2 on with 2 out. And it will be a lengthy first inning. Toyota keys to the game. Tale of 2 Tanners.
It certainly is a tale of 2 Tanners. We've got to get him to get himself back. Number one, feeling comfortable in executing early in the count, but finishing guys off. That has been his biggest bugaboo so far this season. Continuing to just finish.
Big Samuel Basayo and a big swing and a miss. 21 years old. And he stands 6'4", 250. You talk about filling up the batter's box.
I was just about to say that. You know, we were down on the field for batting practice, and there wasn't a guy smaller than me, and I don't consider myself a small guy either.
This is popped up foul ground. Jose's over to the front of the dugout, but it's just beyond anybody's reach. Tanner Bybee was racing over there as well.
Welcome to my world, Chris. Every day I'm the smallest guy out here. Remember, there's only a couple pitchers that are allowed to go get their pop-ups.
That's exactly right. And I noticed he was the first one over there.
Tanner got over. He was like a
You know what? When you show you can do this, why not give him a chance? Heck, he's even calling off position players at this point.
2 on, 2 out, 2-strike pitch to Basayo. Swing and a miss. Really good execution on the changeup to get out of the first, and the Guardians are coming to bat. Starting lineup for the Guardians brought to you by Progressive. Stephen Kwan will lead it off, followed by Chase DeLauder. Jose Ramirez hitting third, then Kyle Manzardo. Reese Hoskins gets the start at first base, batting fifth. Daniel Schneemann is hitting sixth, then Angel Martinez, Bo Naylor, and Juan Brito batting ninth. Brian Rocchio, along with Jose Ramirez, the only Guardians who have played in every game this year. Rocchio getting a night off. Thus, Schneemann gets the start at shortstop. Stephen Kwan 2 for 4 last night with a run batted in. Chris Bassett, the right-hander, deals, and a late swing by Kwan. Fouled off to the left side. No, 1-2. Chris Bassett grew up in Western Ohio, pitched collegiately at the University of Akron. This year it's been a sort of a strange start. Opponents are batting .388 against him in his first 3 starts.
Yeah, and you see that ERA there. Again, only 11 innings pitched. The walks to the strikeouts is the biggest thing. One thing Chris Bassett does is he's referred to as a nibbler. He wants to get you out chasing off the plate. Going to be extremely important for these Guardians hitters. You have to know your ends. You have to know the top and bottom and in and out, because he wants to live out there.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Breaking ball yanked foul. When he was a young pitcher and Stephen Vogt was catching him with the Athletics, he could throw it up there top end 90 miles an hour, right. 98, 99. When you lose velocity as a pitcher, what does a catcher do to try to get you through?
You're going to see it. It's pretty much the kitchen sink at this point. He's got 6 different pitches. You know, the lefties, he's pretty much a 4-pitch pitcher.
Line to left softly, and hangs in the air, and Leody Taveras runs it down. 1 away. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. And Bassett, like so many pitchers today, he has a vast array of pitches.
Yes, he certainly does. And again, getting him in the heart of plate and knowing your limits is going to be huge today for the Guardians.
All right, those numbers right there, obviously, 4-seamer, sinker, those jump out at you. What can numbers tell you that maybe if you're not there at the game and actually seeing, you know, because numbers might look like he's getting a lot of line drives, because those balls could be, you know, bloopers, they could be duck snorts, whatever the case may be. What do those numbers tell you?
Well, it tells me that he's leaving balls up in the plate, but the deeper you dig into the numbers, you see he's really hasn't given up a ton of hard contact this year. So it's been maybe a little bit of bad luck mixed in with some soft flares here and there that have found some grass. And this early on in the season, you give up a couple of hits early like this, just like earned runs for, you know, relievers. Give up a couple of runs, everything jumps up, and it takes a while to get itself back to normal.
To go off of that, he worked in his last bullpen on just spin. It feels like his spin has not been where it needs because he can't blow the ball by everybody.
DeLauder fouls it off.
So he's trying to find his spin to get guys off of his fastball. If that makes sense of that, Chris, because that's how he kind of told me yesterday what he's trying to do.
And that's the key. He's out there trying to feel for it right now. He knows he has to rely on his spin. And when he doesn't have a good feel for it, he has to throw more sinkers. You're not going to blow anybody away anymore at 89 to 92.
Chase DeLauder has done a very nice job of making the ball be in the zone.
And I really like that foul ball he just had, too. That's one of the first balls I've seen him stay on in a little while.
Well, he just draws a walk. It was a first inning walk yesterday that led to 2 quick runs because the guy behind him took a pitch and destroyed it for a 2-run homer. And Jose Ramirez has been doing quite a bit of that over his last 8 games now. He's hitting .355, 2 doubles, 3 homers, and 5 runs batted in.
You can see there's the tale of at least the first few weeks of the season. With guys like Jose Ramirez, veteran guys like this, Andre knows you don't have to worry about much. It was a loud sound right there. That ball got out in a heartbeat.
Got on top of a high heater.
Talked about it last night. I think it was extremely important for these guys to stay on top of the ball, attack the top part of the ball. It's exactly what you saw Jose do there.
Got after a 2-0 pitch and swung through it. Bassett, obviously a veteran pitcher. You got a 21-year-old catcher behind the plate. He's going to his belt. He's trying to call his own game.
He is. He will always do that.
Voters said he needed it. He has too many pitches anyway.
3-1.
Voters said he goes, I wish you would have had that 10 years ago.
Trust me, me too. Would have made catching Darvish a lot easier.
Oh, that was your guy. I forgot.
He said he came up to me initially and said he had 11 pitches.
Wow.
And I said, hey, bud, I only got 5 fingers, so.
Checked, it was high, ball 4, and back-to-back walks here in the first. So this is a good sign, because when the Guardians are at their best, they are working counts, not chasing. And Stephen Vogt made it very clear to us before the game, for the Guardians to have success tonight, he wants you to chase those pitches on the edges and expand your strike zone. He said we must make him throw it on the plate.
Absolutely. That's the name of the game.
That was a good first pitch curveball.
Certainly was. Not too many hitters going up there looking for a first pitch curveball, even in a situation like this. Again, just because now it's 0-1, that shouldn't necessarily change your game plan. Still hunting that heart of the plate.
Came right back with a curveball, but it was low, and a 1-1 count. Manzardo has turned things around, a 6-game hitting streak. And the fastball misses inside, 2-1. Already a 20-pitch first inning for Bassett, and only 1 out.
Well, so far, Guardians are doing a great job of making him work, throwing that ball on the plate, not expanding their strike zones.
Manzardo taking a little extra time with the 2-2 count. 2 men on base, 1 out here, opening frame. That was up high with a 4-seam fastball, and now the count is full. Here now is the 3-2 pitch. And the curveball's hit the left field. That'll get down for a base hit. Delauder around third. He'll get the stop sign there, and the bases are loaded with only 1 out.
Well, what set that up was the first 2 pitches of this at-bat. He was able to see that breaking ball in the heart of the strike zone. Yeah, it was just at the bottom, but great job right there of staying back. And again, the reason I say that is the first 2 pitches of this at-bat were breaking balls. 1 for a strike, 1 down below the zone that he checked off of. He knew the height that he needed to see that thing come out at. Great job of waiting back.
I thought that last replay we showed, really, it was a good illustration of how Manzo's, the timing. You know, he gets the front foot down, the head stays back, slight hesitation, wait for it, and then shoots it the other way. Just watch how he stays on this.
This is about as good of an angle as you could possibly get. You see the hips transfer forward, slow down just a bit. The key there is keeping the hands back. You can get the body out there, but as soon as those hands go, your barrel goes with it. Great job right there by Kyle Manzardo.
Rhys Hoskins with the bases loaded and 1 out. And a slow breaking ball popped up on the infield. Hoskins is fit to be tied as he jogs down to first. 1 down. I mean, he did see a lot of those curveballs to Manzardo, so maybe he was up there hunting it. But when you pop it up, even if you're hunting it on the first pitch, you just go, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah, that's a tough one. You know, you're in an advantage situation right there, and there's some history between these 2 guys as well, which probably played into that first pitch breaking ball swing.
Daniel Schneemann with a 5-game hitting streak.
That's the beauty about baseball, is you can go up there looking for the pitch you want, get the pitch you want, feel like you may put a good swing on it, still be unsuccessful.
You just hope that doesn't get Bassett where he needs to go.
Exactly.
You know?
It could have the reverse effect too. You let your guard down just a little bit.
Hyundai in the driver's seat. The Guardians, this is how they finished the regular season a year ago, scoring with 2 outs. And it's how they've made their money so far here in the early going of 26. Daniel Schneemann tied for 3rd in the league with 6 doubles. Boy, would one of those come in handy right here. Strike call, throw back to second base. And Gunnar Henderson thinks he tagged Jose on the back foot before he got into the base. The call in the field is safe. Orioles are taking a look in the dugout. Will they challenge this?
It's certainly close.
No challenge.
No challenge.
I think he might have just missed him. Looks like it went right between his legs.
That's unbelievable.
Think about the guts it takes to throw that ball to second base with a guy on third base.
Against him.
Right.
Well, that's the second time they've attempted.
It's a fastball strike and a big pitch for Bassett. Instead of falling behind 3-1, it evens the count. And he is closing in on 30 pitches for the inning. He desperately needs this third out. The 2-2. Schneemann fights it off. And it'll take at least 30 pitches for Bassett to get through the first. And Schneemann is hoping that it will be more than that.
You just got to continue to try to fight and claw for something in the heart of the strike zone. Anything close, you got to battle and protect.
Breaking ball right back up the middle. Might have ticked off the glove of Bassett. Throw to first is in time. And the Guardians leave him loaded in the first. Guardians TV is presented by Progressive. A beautiful Friday night here at the ballpark. No score, second inning. Bad news for Cleveland. They had bases loaded, could not score. Good news is they made Bassett throw 30 pitches in the opening frame.
Again, that's a small victory in its own right. And you just hope that inning number 2, Tanner takes care of business here. Pretty good start right there with a good cutter. But you hope you can keep that same momentum offensively and continue to put traffic on the base paths.
Leody Taveras leading off. Taveras has been a nice pickup for Baltimore. Free agent signee in the offseason. He's hit in 8 of the 9 games he has started. And with all the injuries they've had, they've needed him. But you think about his career, and it's kind of interesting. You go back to the World Series year in Texas. He had 266 that year, 14 homers, 31 doubles, knocked in 67, played a great center field defensively. It's always been strong. The next year, though, he kind of tailed off, really didn't swing the bat that well. And then they traded him to Seattle, where he delivered a game-tying hit in the 8th inning of his debut with the Mariners, and then hit 174 the rest of the time with Seattle. So they obviously weren't real interested in bringing him back. But I go back to, this is weird, but I almost wonder if his offensive decline didn't start with that World Series with Texas. He went 0 for 16 in the World Series, in which the Rangers beat the Diamondbacks in 5 games to win the World Championship. And then he never recovered. Now we'll see what happens with Baltimore this year, but sort of a strange nosedive.
It really is. You know, the playoffs are difficult to hit in regardless.
It gets
by
by
a tough play.
Ramirez, quick release, but
what a play.
Taveras beats it out. Great job by Rhys Hoskins to haul in the one-hop throw from Jose, but to no avail.
Well, that was a tough play all around. See, this ball's off the end of the bat, and in the left-handed batter's box, he's already closer to first base. Jose did a really good job of getting rid of this ball fast, and an even better job by Rhys Hoskins there of knocking that ball down and obviously catching it there. But a lot of times balls like that have a tendency to find their way into the camera well. It's a good job all around.
Runner goes on the first pitch. Quick release by Bo, but not in time. So Taveras with his first stolen base of the year, and the Orioles have their leadoff man in scoring position.
Well, he got a great jump. High leg kick from Tanner. Fairly easy stolen base there for his first of the season.
Swung out and missed. Taveras played the role of villain last night. He had the hit off Parker Messick in the 9th. Spoiled a no-hit bid. 0-2, and it's in the dirt.
Well, if you're Tanner and Bo, you at least got to keep your eye on Taveras there at second base too. You don't want to give him 90 feet to get to second base and then not continue to pay attention to him.
Jose is way off third too. Swing and a miss. Really good breaking ball from Tanner Bybee. Strikes him out. One down, his second strikeout tonight.
Well, that's what we're talking about in regards to finishing. Not much bad is going to happen to you down there, even against a left-handed hitter. Did a really good job of kind of throwing that ball off that same tunnel as the fastball and changeup that he's been utilizing this game early on. That's the type of finish that we're talking about.
One out for Kobe Mayo. Mayo's played in 14 games so far this year for Baltimore. It's obviously a very small sample size. But what those numbers would suggest is that Mayo should be a guy who comes off the bench. He's 1 for 23 against starting pitchers, 6 for 22 against bullpen relievers.
Yeah, it certainly has been a tough go. And he's bouncing at second base.
Taveras was dancing, and had they had a play on, I think they would have had him nailed, but Brito wasn't closing on second base. There was no timing play.
He wanted to.
Yeah, he did. Well, I want to ask you just real quick, Chris, where Hosey's at. As a catcher, how hard is it to throw to him? Two moving objects.
That's extremely difficult,
right.
And I'm glad you brought that up. It's really hard. You know, as a catcher, you're taught to throw to the base, not
right.
necessarily, you know, the player acquiring the base or on the base. But boy, you know, when he's running in, you're trying to give him, you're trying to act like a quarterback in that situation and lead him, and that can be tough at times.
You got a quarterback right next to you. He'll help him.
Well, the difference is a quarterback at least has an idea where his receiver is going.
True, right.
You don't know for sure where that infield is going.
I will say this, though. It is a little bit easier going to third base. And this is going to sound weird, but you have the foul line there. It's a great way to follow when you're letting go of the ball. Just missed.
And a 4-pitch walk after the strikeout of Cowser. So now second walk for Bybee, and once again he's right back in
number 82. Jeremiah Jackson.
Trouble with 2 on and 1 out.
Even though this would be a difficult player to double up, you do find yourself at least, you know, with the option, if you can get him to put the ball on the ground, there is that possibility of a double play.
Yeah, Jeremiah Jackson backed up by a fastball.
And we talked in our keys to the game about him dominating the inner half of the ball. A ball just like that can have a similar effect. You're moving somebody's feet, you're moving his eyes, try to open yourself back out to go outside.
Jeremiah Jackson, you know, he wears number 82, and some people maybe not familiar with the Orioles might think he's just kind of a temporary fill-in. This guy was a second-round pick of the Angels back in 2018. He has loads of talent. And he's showing it here, making the most of this early season opportunity.
Yes, he is.
Bybee's 2-0 pitch is hit foul down the right side.
Matt, some of his minor league numbers look like video game numbers from last year and what he was able to accomplish.
As the old saying goes, you can't hit what you can't see. And when he was in high school in Mobile, Alabama, he was telling his coach, I can't pick up the spin. I'm not seeing the spin. They went and got his eyes checked. He needed contact lenses. And once he went to the contact lenses, it changed everything. He became a much better hitter. Swing and a miss. Really nice breaking ball from Bybee.
Excellent pitch right there. They just did a really good job of staying on top of this breaking ball too. The 2-0 pitch that Jackson swung at before was in that upper third. Did a good job again of tunneling that breaking ball right off.
Tipped it right into the mid of Bo Naylor, and the third strikeout of the night couldn't have come at a better time from Tanner Bybee. 2 down.
Top of the lineup, now batting for Baltimore.
Again, you see him stay on top of the breaking ball, slowing it down just enough. Jeremiah Jackson out in front of that pitch. Good job at executing and finishing that at bat.
Allowed out first time up for Gunnar Henderson. He sent a screaming liner at Angel Martinez in left field. He wasted no time either. And he swings at the first pitch again. Left field. It's deep back to the track, and making the catch is Angel Martinez. And the Orioles strand 2 more.
TV.com.
This series against the Orioles continues all weekend long. Tomorrow's game starts at 6:10 and Sunday's finale begins at 1:40 p.m. Great seats are still available, so get your tickets today at cleguardians.com.
Leading off for the Guardians here in the home half of the second is Angel Martinez. 0 for 4 last night in the series opener, but still batting .361 over the last 9 games. Popped back out of play.
Well, he's done such a better job this year early on in the season hitting left-handed. You know, that was an issue for him last year. And he's really worked at, you know, continuing to get his base wider, seeing the baseball a little bit longer left.
Guys, we know Angel is very aggressive at the plate. Surprised he went 3 curveballs in a row to start him off. The first 2 didn't surprise me. The third surprised me.
You know, this is the way Chris Bassett likes to pitch. It's very unorthodox. I would not be shocked if he decided to throw another one even lower. That was a fastball up to kind of reset the trap, so to speak, to go back to the breaking ball. He could double up with the fastball right here as well, and you don't even have to throw it that high.
Hard hit ball in the hole, and that's going to find the hole. In the left field, a leadoff single for Angel Martinez. Our Bet365 betting odds tonight. Bo Naylor coming off a game in which he went 2 for 5 with a couple of runs batted in against St. Louis. Runner goes, pitch is taken for a strike, and the throw is high, and they call him out anyway. Bruce Dreckman, second base umpire, calls out Angel Martinez.
Well, again, that slow curveball, you can see Samuel Basayo, great throw first and foremost, but it all started by him getting that motion going towards second base, and you can see just barely getting it. Getting that tag in before the foot. But good strong throw by the young catcher.
So far on the year, the Guardians have 15 steals, and they've been caught 5 times.
I think, against certain guys, you got to continue to be very aggressive. He picked the right pitch to go on. You just sometimes have to tip your cap to the catcher in this situation. He made a perfect throw.
The 2-2. And a hanging breaking ball hit right to the third baseman, Mayo. That was sinking on him. 2 down.
This certainly looked like it had a little bit of spin to it. I think Bo stayed inside that ball just enough that he kind of cut it, and that's what brought it back towards the third base side.
We saw a play like that the other day with Daniel Schneemann when he was at the third base. Ball was cut just like that. It hit the ground and it immediately kicked toward the foul line.
Took a left-hand turn.
Yeah. He was able to stay with it, but yeah, when you get those kind of funky swings, I'm sure as an infielder you maybe have a little bit of an idea what that ball's going to do, but until you actually see it and the way it hits the ground obviously changes the way it's going to hop.
It really does. Those are a lot of fun to deal with too. And then you add in the fact that behind you in the stands there's fans wearing all kinds of different colored shirts and whites and reds and blues, and
Juan Brito backs away.
There were always certain ballparks, and the way the sun was or the way the angle of the seats, it really affected you in the infield. Playing third base, playing first base, those 2 corner positions just throws your depth perception off a little.
Topped foul first base side. Brito with a bouncer to Alonso. And a quick second inning for the Guardians. No score through 2.
When
Welcome back to Progressive Field as we go to the top of the third inning. You see the pink laces. We know what that means. That means a baby girl is coming to Cameron, the older brother of Tanner Bybee and his fiancee Kaylin. This is their reaction after finding out the gender reveal earlier in the game. So congratulations to all the Bybees and all the family members. Hope they have a wonderful evening watching Tanner pitch.
Tanner's got a first pitch strike in there to Taylor Ward. Bybee has struck out 3, walked 2. He's given up 2 singles. One ball and 1 strike. Ward fly to center first time up. The 2-1.
Great double up too. He's got the feel for the changeup tonight. I love it. That's the one pitch he is not afraid to throw in any count.
Down on the dirt and a full count now for Ward. He's been on base in 16 of his last 17 games. And the payoff pitch is high, so a walk in each of the first 3 innings for Bybee.
Now batting for Baltimore.
And a word now from Bet365.
Did you win? Let's just say the next round of omelets is on me, fellas.
Bet $10, get $200 in bonus bets.
Here's Pete Alonso. Single to left his first time up. Ball bounces away from Bo Naylor. Down to second base goes Ward. And he's in there on the wild pitch.
Well, this is all on the secondary. He sees that ball down. He knows Bo's already in a crouch down there on a knee. It's actually a really good job by Juan Brito over there, not allowing that ball to get into center field. Having an even stickier situation on our hands. Well, I want to show you Bo's chest here. You can see how he's down on an angle, right, or down on a knee. His body is already turned a certain way, right, towards the first base, open towards that first base side. You know, he's going to have to continue to really work his way around the baseball to try to stuff that thing and keep it right there in front of him.
Right back to Bybee. Somehow he caught it. He's got Ward on a rundown. Rose will run him back to second, and they will tag him out. That was an incredible play by Tanner Bybee. I don't know how he caught it.
This is real time. That ball was hit quick. Tanner did a good job of giving the ball up in that situation. Let the infielders go to, take care of their business. See Daniel Schneemann make the tag there and immediately look towards second base.
100 miles an hour off the bat. It got there in a hurry.
It certainly did. That'll wake you up.
Yeah, his BPMs spiked. But that's why he is a very good fielding pitcher.
He's a great athlete.
Yeah, he never looks like he's out of position or unorthodox when he's going after a ground ball or a pop-up. Smoke to center. Juan has it played perfectly. Hits his cutoff man, and back to first goes Alonso for Baltimore. 2-0. Dylan Beavers hit that ball hard, but right at Quan. You think about nicknames, Polar Bear. So many nicknames are just, weak variations of somebody's first or last name. Quani, G. Polar Bear, that's a great nickname.
That's a great nickname.
You know who gave it to him?
I do not.
Todd Frazier.
Really?
You know how he came up with it? He walked into the club and said, "Man, you look like a big polar bear." It was literally that simple. And it stuck. Some things do, some things don't.
And it obviously it's very fitting for the man. If you've stood next to him, he is a giant human.
Now around here, around these parts, we have our own polar bear. He was a classic. Jeff Datz.
Oh. Yeah.
You
the OG.
Oh, so that is the absolute truth.
You mentioned his name earlier.
Datsy. I
Yes,
did.
you did.
I was talking about Datsy earlier.
All right, well, Pete Alonso, it does fit because he's so cool and calm, too, when you talk to him. The nickname fits is all I will say. Because he's huge.
Have you ever seen videos of a polar bear in the wild, Andre? They're the very opposite of calm and cool.
Well,
they are like one of the most ferocious animals out there.
So is he at the plate. But
That's true.
But when he's not hunting,
Exactly.
he's relaxed and as cool as can be is my point. And no, I don't hang out with polar bears in the offseason.
2-strike pitch, down low.
Keep hanging with G, though. I guess I'm going to have to.
I'm going to get you in some camo. Don't you worry.
Coordinates with the outfit, I'll make it work.
He's more of an elk guy.
It would be warm camo then.
In the dirt, Samuel Basayo struck out his first time up.
You know, it was fun listening to Craig Albernes talk about this 21-year-old catcher and what it would be like catching in the big leagues at this age. A lot of people coming up in the system, they only talked about his bat, not catching. And Craig said there's still a lot of catching that he has to learn, but the people over there will tell you hitting-wise, he's got it figured out already.
He's doing something right because the Orioles, at 21 years old, the Orioles have already signed him through 2033. So they inked him to an 8-year deal already.
And remember, they've got a former #1 overall
yes,
pick
they do.
as a catcher as well.
Who turns out's pretty darn good in his own right.
Yeah, now they've got first base covered, so when Adley Rutschman comes back, it'll be interesting to see how they get playing time for all three.
They've been using that DH spot for these guys.
Chopped up the middle. Schneemann goes to first. Side retired. Midway through the third, no score.
You need to keep it. It doesn't go away. It's not all. You don't ever make it. You know, I think that's one of the, you know, maybe misnomers that people, I made it. No, you never make it. You have to earn it every day. And Chris embodies that better than anybody. He's been pitching for a long time, knows who he is, knows how to get big league hitters out.
Stephen Vogt caught Chris Bassitt when he first came to the big leagues. And I'll tell you what, you talk about tested. So Chris Bassitt makes his big league debut with the White Sox. Then they spin him the next year to Oakland. That's where he really gets his feet wet. Well, with the A's, he went 1-8 his first year with a .356 earned run average. So he did his job.
Sure.
But in 18 games over 13 starts, his record was 1-8. So like we talk about hitters, trust the process, barrel some balls up, they're catching it. You need to be rewarded. At some point, you need that feel good at the end of a day's work. He got it one time.
And it's extremely hard to deal with mentally because natural human instinct is I need to do more in that situation.
And that usually leads to disaster.
That usually leads to disaster.
What led to that conversation with Stephen Vogt was last year we were in Toronto. Bassitt pitched against the Guardians, gave up a couple stolen bases, and the next day we come out during batting practice.
Liner, base hit by a diving Gunnar Henderson. So the Guardians have had a hit in every inning against Chris Bassitt.
Well, this is what you call perfect placement right here.
Oh, and perfect timing because Stephen Kwan was the reason why Chris Bassitt was out the next day after he pitched. And he was on the mound, Matt. You remember this in Toronto. And he's sweating like it's Game 7. And
We're
he's
like trying to figure out what is he doing.
Right, and he's throwing the ball over to first base at 100 miles an hour. And he did it for 15 minutes, Chris. So finally, you know, I looked at Stephen Vogt and I go, what is he doing? He goes, he's being a pro. And I talked to Chris yesterday, Bassitt, about why he was doing that. And he said, Dre, he goes, Stephen Kwan got in my head. Jose Ramirez got in my head. They needed me to throw over to first base. And I didn't have my A1 move, and I felt like I let my guys down.
Big chopper up the gut. Jackson to Henderson on to first. They will not turn the double play. DeLauder beating it down the line. Legs it out.
So Chris, rather than just wait till his next start or next time, he was like, I had to work on that right then and there. And he goes, if you're working on your move and you're just going 50%, well, that's not going to help you in the game. So he said, I told my guys, I got to get out there and I need to throw it like it's a game because I gave up bases last night that I should not have given up because I wasn't ready.
And that right there is the epitome of a pro and something a lot of young players really need to lean into. You don't see that much anymore. Guys taking the onus on themselves. We see, you know, we're all here early. We see how much these guys put in work out here. But to be able to go up to a coach or a staff member and say, I need you out here because I have to work on this. That tells you everything you need to know about Chris Bassitt.
And why he's still out there, because you said something to me.
Right.
You said something to me that hit home. You said, Andre, I don't know how many more of these guys are going to be left in a few years. But teams need guys like this, and I know Albies feels like this. You want a guy like Chris Bassitt that teaches your young guys what it means to be a pro.
And as sad as that is to say, it's a dying breed. You know, you just don't see guys, number one, that have been around the game and dealt with a lot of the ups and the downs that the game provides you. The game has trended younger, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. You got to have and find places for guys like this. Well, you guys think Albie said these guys are going to be aggressive, so we need to pop up from the catcher's position, and at least let them know we're thinking about it?
Well, we knew that they ran on Chris Bassett last year. I'm sure he knew it too, and he probably told his catcher, you gotta control this.
Up and away, 2-2 for Jose. It was a 30-pitch first inning for Chris Bassett. He got out of a bases-loaded one-out jam without allowing a run. Since then, just 2 base runners.
Well, how about a little birthday wish to Kelsey Bachman, 13 years old, of North Ridgeville. Mike Bachman, our pre- and post-game producer's oldest daughter. Happy birthday, young lady.
She's a teenager.
Better watch out, Bach.
Good luck, Bach.
2-2, and that curveball just missed. That's Bassett right there in a nutshell. Just a teaser. Just see, will he go out just a little bit beyond the strike zone and chase? Well, Jose's, it's tough to get him to do that.
That's right. Tough batter to try that against.
Runner goes, a swing and a high fly ball. Center field. Taveras over. He'll give way to the right fielder, Hauser. And a late break back to first by DeLauder, but he's there easily for out number 2. And a word now from Wayside Furniture.
Refresh your outdoor space with stylish savings at below market pricing. Shop Wayside Furniture in Akron, keeping it local since 1937.
Kyle Manzardo, he's DHing tonight. He took a curveball and shot it to left field for a base hit to load him up in the first. Extending his hitting streak to 7 games.
And there's that pickoff.
Manzardo, a high fly ball to right field. Back is Hauser onto the warning track and makes the catch. No score through 3. Coming up next, Rajay Davis will join us in booth. We're celebrating 10 years of that 2016 World Series team.
Crave only $10. Order in the Pizza Hut app.
Okay.
All right, we're back here, 4th inning, no score. Leody Taveras will lead off for Baltimore. Matt Underwood, Chris Jimenez, joined now in the booth by Rajay Davis.
That's me.
That's
man,
you.
the myth.
And Rajay Davis bobblehead giveaway is coming up on May 16th, Saturday, against the Cincinnati Reds. First 15,000 fans will receive a Rajay Davis 2016 Game 7 bobblehead doll. This is pretty cool.
It is very cool.
What do you think of that?
You know what?
You like it?
You know what? This look as close as a model of me. I mean, you want to get close to me? Check the model out. Huh? There it is.
All right,
boom, baby. And you want to get close to that smile too.
I have one issue with the bobblehead.
Okay, come on.
Because the iconic video we have
yes.
is the tongue is out.
Yes.
You know, as you're going around.
We don't got the tongue.
You're just smiling. You just
Hold
shut
on.
up.
Let me draw one in there
Come
for
on.
you real quick.
That's it right there.
How are you?
That was my Michael Jordan moment, by the way.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I grew up watching.
I'm still waiting for mine.
Leody Taveras pops one to left. Back goes Angel Martinez, drifting just shy of the track for route number 1. There it is. Tongue out.
There it is.
MJ style.
Yes.
Look at Sandy.
There it is.
That's the one right there.
That's coming around third base like, yo, that's Jordan for you.
Looking at your guys.
Boys, I'm looking at the guys in the dugout like, man, why are they all out of the dugout?
I was in an outer body experience right there. Do you even remember doing it?
No, I don't actually. I don't remember doing it. I only know I did it because the video is proof.
I was just going to say, in some ways, I'm not trying to make light of it, but you probably needed to go back and look at the video and say, yeah, that did actually happen.
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't dream that.
Yes, absolutely. And especially, I do remember getting to home plate and thinking, man, Brandon Geyer and myself have never been in this position where I hit a home run and he's waiting for me at home plate.
It's usually the opposite. The best part is if they show me, the only reason I asked you is I do not remember. Like, we're all jumping around out there outside the dugout. I do not remember that at all.
You know, I was talking to Kluber not too long ago. He was saying, man, the same thing. He kind of blacked out in that moment. It's like, oh.
Kobe Mayo sends one high and deep. If it's fair, it's gone. It is a foul ball.
I wonder if we're going to get a look at this one.
Third base umpire.
That was close, regardless.
Carlos Torres made the call. The Orioles, really, in this case, all you have to do is, hey, would you take a look at it? You don't have to use a challenge on a home run. And I'm sure Craig's going to say.
Yeah, there's no harm in wanting to take a look at it.
That one was really close.
The call on the field is foul ball. This is a crew chief review for a possible home run.
Raj, you work with Major League Baseball. From HQ's perspective, all the changes that have been made in baseball in recent years with respect to technology, replay, reviews, now the ABS, how's it going from command center's point of view so far, do you think?
I tell you what, we were getting a lot of positive feedback on the ABS challenge, right? A lot of the guys, a lot of the players like it. Maybe not so much the umpires because it really exposes the eye performance but there are a lot of close calls though, right, that could go either way, right? And I think that's the positive. The umpires have really gotten to a point where they keep a lot of the balls on the plate, the strike calls on the plate, and so I think a lot of our umpires have gotten better, and some of them have gotten exposed to the skill behind the plate, but it's hard what they do.
That's the one thing. I said it publicly. It's given me a better appreciation for just how good they really are. Yeah. And hey, you're right. They're gonna miss some. All right, we have
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. It is a foul ball.
Foul ball. Okay. You couldn't have anybody that's not going to miss some calls here and there. And I think the key is, and I think this is where teams on both sides are still feeling their way through it. You want to make sure the critical calls, you get those right.
I think that's the most important thing. Right. Getting those egregious ones out, out of there, and being able to at least make a challenge call if that's the case.
Right. Check swing, call to strike. I wonder, do you think it's maybe, as a hitter, do you think, is it your ego that gets the better? There's no way that was a strike. There's no way that was a strike.
I definitely have a feeling that a lot of emotion comes into play with making a call.
No doubt.
Yes or no, but at the end of the day, the players who've done, I think, their work, their preparation, know the zone. They'll know the ones that are outside of the zone. And when it's a good time, that's more of a team concept, a team thing.
Sure.
I think teams are still trying to figure that one out.
No doubt.
As far as who should challenge, when we should challenge. Players are going to be players and think about the number one person in their life right now, and that's the stats and getting that call where maybe that puts them in a better position to get a hit that particular at bat. But that's the challenge of it. Literally, that's the challenge.
Yeah, no pun intended with that.
Ground ball up the middle by a diving Schneemann. And a base hit for Kobe Mayo.
The one thing I will say, though, is I appreciate, from a former catcher's standpoint, I appreciate the accountability it has now on the umpires. But at the same point, you always know how good they are. This is now a visual representation of how good they are. And when you do see challenges that maybe a seam of the baseball is in the zone, me as a former player, I'm not holding that against the guy. That's impossible to tell.
Right, exactly. You got a point, with that, with what you just said, man. That is huge for these guys.
Weak ground ball up the middle, cut off by the second baseman Brito, and the side is retired. We'll continue with Rajay Davis. Midway through the fourth, no score. We are visiting this inning with Rajay Davis as you look at some of his highlights from that magical 2016 season. All right, I'm just going to empty all the cliches here. They say time flies. It certainly does. Because for me, it truly feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
I was up here in the booth watching you guys play, getting to call some of those magical moments that you gave us in that 2016 season. When you sit here today and realize we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of that season, what is that? How do you feel about that?
Well, first off, my son was 14 months old.
How about that?
He was barely walking when that moment happened. He's here today, and he's
Is that him back there?
That's him.
Come on.
He's a little bit
down.
older than 14 months now.
Come on down. Camera. We got to get him on camera here. Look, he was 14 months old when Raj hit that home run. Now look at him, handsome young man.
This is Jordan Michael.
All right. Line drive and a base hit right field for Rhys Hoskins. See, he's already brought us good luck.
Yeah,
One camera
you can't go anywhere now.
Got a base hit.
You're stuck.
So he's fifth grade?
He's in fifth grade. He's in fifth grade. He played basketball for the first time this past season. He loves baseball, and he's been working hard to try to get better.
That's awesome.
You dunking yet? Shooter. Okay,
shooter.
all right, shooter.
I love it. Spot up, let her rip. Daniel Schneemann tops one to second. Jackson will flip it to first for out number one. Hoskins moves into scoring position. How often would you say, since you've retired, since you make the rounds, how often would you say somebody asks you about that moment in the 2016 World Series?
If not asked, well, definitely when I'm on a lot of plane rides, going here or there, especially coming back to Cleveland, there's always somebody saying, man, thanks for that moment. Thank you for that moment. I get a lot of that. And, even like just the former players or the current players, that were, in college or at home, they just remember the moment. And that's the biggest thing, the moment that everyone gets to remember, right? The memory that they created, from that one moment that, I get to hear all these stories of that, whether it's the Hall of Famer or, just the everyday player or fan, that I come across. Everyone has their own story that is associated with that iconic moment.
It's like a remember when moment.
Yes.
Remember where you were when that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure there are countless fans here in the city of Cleveland and throughout the region, throughout the country for that matter, that can tell you, I was sitting with my father, I was sitting with my mom, my grandparent, because those moments are special, and that's what bonds us together and makes this game so great. Swinging a miss on Hill, could not rein it in. He chased one out of the strike zone. That's the first strikeout for Chris Bassett. And there are two down now here in inning number 4 with Bo Naylor coming up. Has there been any like what you would call strong pushback from any of the players on some of the, because there's some of us,
it's a good question.
Some guys are real traditionals. They don't like with any changes. So have you had some of that?
So I honestly, last week was my first week really getting out and getting the feedback from the ABS challenge, and so I haven't had any yet. Really strong negative feelings about the ABS challenge system, and obviously I don't, you guys are here more than I do, so there's probably a lot less chapping,
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
We haven't seen hardly any. I mean, at least in our games. I'm sure it's not going to go away completely.
Right.
Because it's an emotional game.
Sure,
Yes.
of course. Have you heard any feedback from umpires? Do the umpires like this at all?
I think the umpires may be ready for the next step, if there is one.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I just hope we don't get to a completely robo umpire system. I still like the human element. I think so far the ABS, if it's done anything, it's made them, hey, I've got to stay. I can't just have my own strike zone tonight. What I think is the strike zone. No, they've got to stay, and I think it's not an easy job. I don't know how many times we can say that. I think it's going to make them better ultimately, and I hope we don't try to eliminate them in any way.
It certainly has made them better and made them more accountable.
No doubt. I love that.
Yes, and so it forces them to stay focused through that at bat, through the rest of the game. And I don't know if that's a bad thing.
It's not, because, as a player, we're forced to stay focused. Not forced. We voluntarily do this, but, well, not voluntarily, but you know what I mean. But if they're taking that mental lapse during my at-bat, here I am, a backup catcher. I only get so many at-bats. You can't do that now. Do it to the guy that plays every day.
Exactly.
But I really appreciate the accountability, because, as a player, we're held accountable to the media, to the fan base, to our teammates. They're maybe held accountable to the group of 4 of them, which, again, has its own strengths and weaknesses, but at least now, from an opposing team, from a home team, from just a player standpoint, there's that sense of accountability, and I really appreciate that aspect of this.
No, absolutely. And it brings a level of excitement when...
For sure. You're right. Everybody's immediately look up to the Jumbotron.
Bo Naylor chops it on the right side. And the Polar Bear with another good play. And the side is retired. Raj, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Catching up with you.
TV time. It's over.
Raj Davis with us. 10-year anniversary of that 2016 pennant-winning team in Cleveland.
Look at that
Raj Davis bobblehead giveaway Saturday, May 16th against the Reds. Well, through 4 innings, Chris Bassett of Baltimore has thrown 76 pitches. Tanner Bybee has thrown 73. I think the key for Bybee is when Baltimore's had traffic, and that's been in every inning, they're 0 for 8 with a runner on base. They haven't had a hit with a runner in scoring position. And, I think Tanner's been on the attack. It's not like you can fault him for any of this. He's thrown 13 first pitch strikes to the 18 batters that he has faced. But, as we say, the other guys get paid too in Baltimore. This is an offense that came in, one of the better offenses in the American League here in the early going, even despite all the injuries that they've had.
There's been a plethora.
Averaging over 4 runs a game, 9th best in the league. So kind of middle of the pack there. But
too, one of their best offensive players hasn't even made his start to the season yet, in Jackson Holliday.
Yeah. Ryan Mountcastle broke his foot. He's sidelined. We gave you the sort of the litany of injuries yesterday. Jackson Holliday, Jordan Westberg, Heston Kierstad, Tyler O'Neill, big bat that they've been counting on. He's on the injured list with a concussion. At least with an ankle sprain or something, you kind of have a rough timeline. With a concussion, you never know. Everybody reacts differently. The good news, Craig Alvarez said he's feeling better.
That's right.
But he's not there. He's not been cleared to start playing again.
And that's a tough process. Thankfully, I've never had a documented concussion.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Gunnar Henderson strikes out for the first time tonight. He's had a tough evening. 0 for 3 now.
Well, we talked about Tanner Bybee not only attacking the strike zone, but finishing off batters. This is what we're talking about in regards to executing your pitches with 2 strikes. Perfect pitches on the corner of the plate, the bottom part of the strike zone, mixing up speeds. Really good job tonight by Tanner so far, and he's still got a ways to go.
Bybee in the dirt, spikes it to Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward flied out in the first, walked. And then in that third inning, he advanced to second on a wild pitch. And then he was a victim of bad luck. Pete Alonso hit a one-hop screamer back at Tanner Bybee.
Oh, and diving stop by Schneemann, gets up, throws, got him! What a play! Super utility man, Daniel Schneemann.
Wow. You can't draw it up any better than that. The first step right here, this ball was smoked. Thankfully, it takes a nice high hop. He gets up, realizes, I got to get rid of this thing. He's got plenty of arm. Great job of changing that weight transfer, getting it to the back foot and powering through. You can see Tanner's fired up about it as well.
Taylor Ward's going back right now. So I think I'm just going to go home. Because back in that third inning when Alonso scalded that ball, he got caught between second and third, and just nothing he could do about it. They ended up running him down.
And then I think to make matters worse, Pete Alonso comes up, tries the other side of Daniel Schneemann and sneaks it through.
The designated hitter, number 12, Dylan Beavers.
So now a two-out base runner for Dylan Beavers. Orioles have had a base runner in every inning. A hit in 4 of the 5. Beavers, with Jose playing way back at third, he was going to just try to drop a bunt down.
Well, he did just see Taylor Ward hit one 102, have it snagged.
And look, I think most people say, why in the world, if you're batting cleanup, would you ever consider bunting? Well, he's not really
not your prototypical cleanup.
And the guy on deck is.
Correct.
So I can understand that for Beavers. If I can drop a bunt down and get on for Big Sam Well. Now, if the situation was reversed and Big Sam up there tried to bunt,
yeah, that's a different story.
With Beavers in behind him, then we'd be like, we need to talk. That's what normally a cleanup hitter would look like right there.
6'4", what'd you say, 240?
250.
Holy smokes.
250. He wears it well, too.
Yes, he does. It's pretty much Sal Perez right there.
Yeah, when he was in 8th grade.
This is one of those times that Tanner really needs to execute. Get out of this at-bat, finish him off.
Wow. You talk about finishing in a ball. That's exactly
picture perfect
what he did. Carved him up. 5th strikeout for Bybee. Orioles strand another. No score, bottom of the 5th inning. Kind of a strange game in the sense that normally if you're scoreless into the 5th, you're talking about a really well-pitched game, and both guys have bobbed and weaved through the early innings here tonight. Broken bat on the infield. Guardians had their best chance in the first inning when they loaded the bases, back-to-back walks and a single to left. Bases loaded, 1 out, and they did not score. Since then, Chris Bassett has given up leadoff singles in 3 straight innings, but Cleveland could not advance him, could not take advantage. And so now here he is still hanging around, still south of 80 pitches into the 5th inning.
Again, so many times as a veteran pitcher, you have to get to him early. You let a guy like this settle in. Next thing you know, he starts to get a feel for not only the breaking ball, but the cutter, the two-seamer, and it could be a long night real quick.
2-0. This is the 3rd time through the order now as Stephen Kwan bats here in the 5th inning. Baltimore bullpen is quiet. But again, you talk about that 3rd time through the order. All it would take would be a hit, maybe a couple of hits, and that bullpen will scramble quickly.
In a heartbeat. Too, you talked about The Guardians not having to use their leverage relievers last night. The Orioles didn't either. You know, so both bullpens are rested, so very easy to see both of these managers be extremely aggressive with their leverage bullpen guys.
What is more consequential to you? Third time through the order. Is it the hitters getting a look third time through?
The catcher is challenging.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. It is ball four.
The call is confirmed. Baltimore has 1 challenge remaining.
Okay, got that. Let me repeat that. So what's more consequential to you as a catcher? The hitters making adjustments now, third time through the order. They've seen him. This is their third at bat. Or pitcher's stuff starts to decline, not as sharp as it was earlier in the game.
I think if you're weighing the two of them, to me, it's the hitters making adjustments. You give big league hitters so many, at-bats to kind of look, watch, get on the iPad in the dugout and see, not only from their own standpoint, but how it's moving from other at-bats in this lineup standpoint.
DeWater drills it deep right field. Down the line it goes. And into the corner. It's caught for an out in foul ground by Colton Cowser.
He might be hurt too. Looks like he ran into the wall. Right knee.
Greg Albert has broken jaw and all, sprinting
First
down
one out there too
into the corner to check on his right fielder. Having a hard time putting any weight on it.
It looks like he might have hit the top of that kneecap. The wall is padded there, but sometimes you get one of those seams like you see behind him there. You can see he's coming into this corner here pretty heavy. Immediately knew it too. And that's difficult too. You know that wall's coming up as an outfielder. He ran in and it didn't really get a chance to turn at all.
I think more than anything,
it was a direct
looks
hit.
like the angle of which,
correct,
right on the top of that knee, as
correct,
you said. He's going to try to stay in there and give it a go.
Well, I will say this, if your manager takes one off the face and breaks 7 bones in his orbital socket, it's a little harder to want to come out of the game when you bang your knee on something.
So there's a great defensive play, though, for Baltimore. It would not have been a hit. I think he was in foul ground, but it's one of those deals where Chase doesn't get any more hacks, no more opportunities. So 2 down, Jose Ramirez will get a chance. With Stephen Kwan still at first base.
I wonder if this is one of those situations where you do see Stephen Kwan take off, try to get himself in the scoring position for Jose.
Angel Martinez was thrown out trying to steal back in the second. Kwan has stolen 2 out of 3 on the year. And now it's 2-0, so
swing away.
Just don't know how aggressive Stephen Kwan is going to want to be.
I agree with
Just
you.
Leave Jose alone.
One benefit of staying there is the hole on the right side of the field's open.
Curveball drops in for a strike.
Not only that, you probably don't have to run. If he can hit that hole and get it down the line, I don't know how well the right fielder will be able to get in that corner.
That's a great point as well. You can see he's still kind of
he's moving around, but
moving limber out there.
He's moving like the Tin Man before he got oiled up.
I marvel at Jose not seeing fastballs very often. He was frustrated yesterday, came over on the iPad after that long at bat, Chris. Remember, he was only one fastball that was thrown.
Right.
And he goes, they won't throw me a fastball, but you never see that frustration when he's at the plate. Oh.
Look out, indeed. That netting may have saved somebody a tooth or two.
I think this is a cutter that came in on him, and look at this. Look at how quick.
Well, he got the head out all right. That's about as far out there as you could possibly get one without swinging and missing at it. And again, 3-1 cutter, I fully expect something soft right here.
Runner goes. Ball 4. Fourth walk issued by Bassett.
And again, if you are Chris Bassett, there is absolutely zero reason to give in to Jose Ramirez right there.
Drew French, the pitching coach, going to go out for a chat. Baltimore bullpen is getting busy, and we'll get a word from Classic Auto Group.
This month at Classic Chevrolet, lease a new 2026 Chevy Silverado LT for only $249 a month for 36 months.
Learn more at driveclassic.com.
Yennier Cano getting loose in Baltimore's bullpen. Kyle Manzardo will be the batter. Now, Chris, he took a breaking ball and shot it to left field the other way for a really nice hit in the first inning. And then he drilled a ball to deep right field that ended the third. So he's had 2 good looks at Chris Bassett. See how he fares third time around. Don't know if that was just a let's give Cano a few times, a little extra time, or if they went up specifically to talk about Manzardo because he's had good looks at him.
I think it's a little bit of both. Knowing too, Reese Hoskins is on deck with the right-hander warming up in the pen. Yennier Cano's been really good this year so far.
That's big for Bassett to land that curveball first pitch for a strike.
And it just puts it in the hitter's head.
Up the ladder, it's 0-2.
And actually, I like the swing there by Kyle Manzardo. He might have been just a hair underneath it, but he was attacking that fastball so hard at the top part of the strike zone.
Bassett knows it's the end of the line for him, so he's going to empty the tank right here.
He got the swing through the pitch before that with the cutter. He tried to go up with the 4-seam, which doesn't throw a ton of anymore anyway. Expect him to try to expand the strike zone here.
Slow hook. Will a pitching coach ever go out and honestly just say, hey, this is your last hitter, so whatever you got?
Absolutely. Yeah, that happens quite often, actually. He'll go out and say, hey, you need to empty the tank here. This is it. We got Cano going. Chris Bassett can see that as well. But your job as a pitching coach right there is to go out and
kind of let him know, hey, here's the situation.
Here it is. And I don't think there's no reason to beat around it. You got to let somebody know sometimes this truth hurts, but you've gotten yourself into this situation. You've done a good job of wiggling yourself in and out of trouble all night.
Well, sometimes it's nice to eliminate doubt. Like, okay, this is it. Yeah. Right, this is your last batter.
It's clarity for the pitcher.
Yeah. Kyle Manzardo, he was down 0-2, trying to hang in there and deliver it. A hit to get a run on the board. That'll get Kwan over to third on the wild pitch.
Well, one thing, you do not see Jose Ramirez not immediately take off on a ball in the dirt. And I know Stephen Kwan was in front of him. This adds a little different.
Yeah, he was mad that he didn't follow Kwan.
Exactly.
Because you usually took the words out of my mouth.
Yep.
Watch him, and then you can watch him shaking his head when he realizes.
He was not happy with himself. But this adds a new dynamic to the situation, too. Because Jose is very liable to take off right here. And that might be what gets Kyle Manzardo that pitch in the zone to hit.
Jose was not running, fouled back, stays 2-2.
This is such a different situation. First and third right here with an elite base stealer at first base. If he would have gone to second base, You can go from the windup. It's a little easier to take a deep breath to focus on executing a pitch.
Is it worth keeping the hole open? There goes Jose. That answered the question. No throw down to second. And so Ramirez has his 9th stolen base on the year.
I was thinking that, but also with the curveball that Bassett throws, does that make him throw it differently with that guy? It's,
For sure. You're putting a lot of trust in a young catcher back there to make sure he stuffs this ball with a runner at third base, more importantly.
This will be the 100th pitch of the night for Bassett. Oh, he got him with a fastball, locked him up, or what? What happened? Why is everybody panicking? Bassett maybe Bassett forgot how many outs there were. Anyway, he's out of the inning and probably out of the game. No score through 5.
The plus is us.
Cleveland Guardians baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Joey Cantillo visiting the local Ronald McDonald House of Cleveland. And he was serving up some of his home state delicacies from Hawaii.
There's Joey, Chad Wolf, Jeff Desjardins.
Swing and a miss by Samuel Basayo.
Got to give best trainers in baseball a little bit of love right there with Joey.
Absolutely.
They can't help you anymore, Chris.
They certainly can.
Little number off the mound.
Got time.
Bybee, bare hand throw. Got him.
Good job.
1 away.
Extremely important there of both. Screaming, you got time, you got time. So many times pitchers can jump off the mound like that, anxious to make a play. Tanner doing a great job, secure the baseball. Would have maybe loved to see him use his glove right there, but executed the play nonetheless.
Look how athletic he looked coming off that mound.
That's fair. I won't doubt him, I'll tell you that.
He's allowed to catch pop-ups is all you got to remember.
Hopefully with his glove.
Yes.
The man they call Wiley Coyote. Leody Taveras, 1 for 2, a single and a stolen base in the second. His cousin is Willie Taveras, who began his professional career with Cleveland. Willie Taveras was eventually a Rule 5 pick out of the Cleveland organization by the Houston Astros. That's where he made his debut, played with the Astros, the Rockies, the Reds, the Nationals.
I remember him, actually.
Yeah, you probably would have crossed paths with him somewhere. He played, I think, up until 2013 in the big leagues. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Tanner Bybee with 5 strikeouts on the night. He's had to work hard for it, though. He just hasn't been able to get one of those quick innings, a double play ball or something to help him out. The 1-2. But here he is going through that lineup, 3rd time through. Just 1 hit allowed.
Although it hasn't been easy, it's been a very sturdy job for him today. Yes.
High in the air to right field. DeLauder. 2 down. Orioles now 1 for 6, 3rd time through the order against Bybee. Injury report brought to you by the injury attorneys at Elk & Elk. Daniel Palencia on the IL for the Chicago Cubs.
Well, I will say this kid is nasty. If you saw him at all for Team Venezuela in the WBC, oof.
Nothing but heat.
Nope. I mean, it is 100. He's coming at you.
How about the NL Central through the first, let's call it 20 games? 1.5 games, a game and a half, separates first place from last place.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Well, Pittsburgh's off to that great start.
That's
Cubs
right.
have all those injuries. They got to take advantage of it. We've seen the Cardinals.
The Cubs are in last place, a game and a half out of
I
first.
know.
That's
The Reds have gotten off to a decent start, so it makes sense. And Milwaukee's Milwaukee, right?
And everybody's over 500.
Yeah.
Perfect pitch. Perfect pitch.
This has been the type of start that Tanner has needed.
I couldn't agree more.
Maybe not having his best stuff, but he's fought through it.
No, but he's battled.
Yeah, right.
He's had to grind through today, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
and the 1-2. The 2-2. And a ground ball right at his second baseman, Juan Brito. He finally has that 1-2-3 inning he'd been looking for.
Enjoy some weekday baseball here at the ballpark when the Guards face the Astros Monday through Wednesday. Tickets start at just $20, including all fees. Get yours today at cleguardians.com.
Yanier Cano, the new pitcher for Baltimore. Chris Bassett went 5 innings, made 100 pitches, walked 4, struck out 2, and gave up 4 hits, but did not allow a run. And now big Yanier Cano.
Well, he certainly looked the part this year. You can see those numbers, quite sterling. No walks, 8 strikeouts. One of 3 Baltimore relievers to yet allow an inherited runner to score this year. Funny stat, you can see the arm angle there. It's very high 3/4. This is actually the highest his arm angle has ever been in his career. As you can see, it's pretty heavy sink. Pretty much a 3-pitch mix to right-handed hitters. You get the 2-seam sinker 50% of the time. We'll throw the split and the slider in there as well. But it's been very, very good this year, both right and left-handed.
Well, I would imagine after last year, he probably figured we need to make some changes. His ERA was over 5 for the year. It was 4.05 on the road, and it was 6.03 at home. Neither one really much to write home about.
And that was with the fences in Baltimore moved back.
Well, this doesn't help. You walk the leadoff man, and you're asking for trouble. A progressive defensive play of the game turned in by Daniel Schneemann.
Heck of a play there. 102 off the bat. Just enough time, though, for him to get his feet underneath him, make a good, strong throw. Really nice stretch there on the back end by Rhys Hoskins.
Daniel Schneemann now. The modest 5-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 2.
Matt, you talk about his numbers last year, but do you remember when he first kind of came on the scene? He was one of the most dynamite 8th inning guys we'd seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean 6'4".
Yeah.
Just arms flailing in every direction.
I remember we were pulling into their stadium. It was him and their back end guy walking in together, Chris. And we all stopped and said, shouldn't they be going over to play for the Ravens? Where are they?
Line drive to base hit left field. So the Guardians off to a good start in the home half of the 6th. A walk and a knock. And here we go.
Oh, this is setting up for a nice situation here. Great job by Daniel Schneemann going with that baseball. Not trying to do too much. You can see, look at his head stay down, allowing that ball to travel.
All right, what are you doing with Angel right here, though?
I am bunting.
I think I am, too.
Yep.
Orioles pinch at the corners. Alonso from first. Mayo at third. Bunts it in the air, foul.
Again, we've seen this times past, in particular with Angel Martinez, young players in a sacrifice situation, trying to make sure, most importantly, you're sacrificing yourself. You got to get the ball on the ground. But we like to see these guys sometimes, they try to jump out there to try to beat something out. Ball's got to go down first before you take off.
That was in the dirt. And Angel skipped out of the way. 1-1. Well, the one thing that you notice right away with Angel Martinez, when he squares, the bat is not out in front of the plate.
Correct.
I mean, he's back in the box. Sometimes it makes it a little easier if you can get out in front.
We need to get him to the Johnny Goral School of Bunting.
Oh, back foot again, and he just barely gets the foot out of the way, and now it's 2-1.
He needs a Johnny Goral School, but I would guess this is not an easy guy to try to pick up a bunt.
Gosh, no.
But as a catcher, if you see a guy who's squaring, he's
you're right,
trying to give himself up. Aren't you saying, hey, man, let him bunt the ball. Let's go. Let's take the out.
Correct. Yes. And again, that's probably what Samuel Basayo is going out and talking to Cano about right now. Hey, listen, they are trying to actively give themselves up. Let's take our out. We'll move on to the next batter.
Or I can understand if, hey, let's go high fastballs and see if he'll pop it up. But you don't want to go back foot sliders here.
That's a tough one. And again, he hasn't shown he can throw that pitch for a strike. If he's shown earlier in the inning he can throw that pitch for a strike, sure, I may be a little bit more willing to go with that in this situation.
Well,
but again, if you're willing to give yourself up, take your out.
He squares. He jabbed at it and missed.
Well, the job still needs to be done.
Yes, it does. I'm glad you just said that too. He knows that.
You don't have to bunt it, but you better get those guys to second and third.
And you can see the main key. Johnny Goral taught me this a long time ago. You bunt with your legs, not your bat.
Well, that was not a good effort. One down.
Again, I will agree with you. This is not the easiest guy to bunt against by any means. That's a sinker at the top part of the strike zone. See Angel trying to find a way to put that ball in play.
So 1 out. Bo Naylor, the batter.
If you're Bo too, I think just watching that at bat from Angel, take the bunt out of it. He hasn't thrown too many strikes.
No. And watch the Schneemann. Might have to shoot him.
2-0.
If I'm Bo here, I'm definitely giving him a strike. I know it's a 2-0 count, and that sounds a little counterintuitive, but he has not shown me that he's thrown a ball in the strike zone, something that I can handle to this point.
Ground ball to short. There's one. And Bo just barely beat it out to keep the inning alive. But there are now 2 down. And Juan Brito coming up.
Well, Bo did get a pitch to hit, decided to take a hack at it. I think Gunner's decision there to take it himself might have cost them that double play.
Craig Alvarez is going to go back to his bullpen. We've got a timeout for a pitching change. Still no score in the 6th.
Dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Well, you can enjoy unlimited ballpark classics at your next game with the new Bottomless Bites. Upper Deck tickets include endless hot dogs, chips, popcorn, peanuts, and fountain sodas, while lower select level tickets include access to the full menu served in the Discount Drug Mart Club Lounge. Visit CLEGuardians.com for all the details.
Now batting for the Guardians will be Juan Brito, 0 for 2 on the night. The new pitcher is left-hander Craig Wolfram. He's the only lefty in the Baltimore bullpen. Brito, a switch hitter. Batting right-handed for the first time tonight.
Wolfram's going to challenge the strike zone. Tons of strikes. It's heavy. It's 96 to 98. You can see the numbers there. Again, another one of these guys where no inherited runners have scored yet for this Baltimore bullpen.
Yeah, it's 0-2. Brito, 3 hits right-handed, 3 hits left-handed on the year.
That was a good job of fouling that pitch off. Pretty well executed breaking ball at the bottom part of the strike zone, but more importantly, it gave Brito a chance to at least see the spin at a level he can attack. Now he's got to go back to being aware not only of that breaking ball, but the top part of the strike zone as well.
Brito in his first 2 games here at Progressive Field went 4 for 8 in the last homestand against Kansas City. Since then, he has 1 for his last 20. 2 on and 2 out in the 0-2 pitch. And we'll go to the 7th. Still no score.
In the DQ app.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Guardians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Guardians.
Stephen Kwan taking care of the copyright tonight.
Taking the gold glove back from his wife, too.
Hunter Gaddis will take over for Tanner Bybee here in the 7th inning. Bybee went 6 4-hit shutout innings, walked 3, struck out 5. Gaddis on to face Kobe Mayo. And then Jeremiah Jackson, bottom part of the order, 8th and 9th place hitters, then Gunnar Henderson.
Well, it's certainly good to see the big man back. Well, that bullpen looks a lot different, both physically,
yeah,
and from a pitch stuff standpoint, with Hunter Gaddis back in it. Again, lengthening out that bullpen gives you another weapon, Stephen Vogt, down there to use, somebody who's trusted a significant amount in the past.
Boy, that slider took care of Kobe Mayo. 1 down.
You can see a good, hard, tight spin breaking ball. Really well executed right there. Bottom part of the strike zone again. Not much going to happen to you.
1 out now for Jeremiah Jackson. And a big rip came up empty. It's 0-2.
It looks like he's really got that good feel for that slider tonight.
Tried to hold up, he went. And back-to-back strikeouts for Hunter Gaddis. 2 down in the 7th.
You can see it here once again. Look at him get on top of that breaking ball. Great downward action. Looks like a fastball, really tight spin. And he certainly did go for strike 3.
Back to the top of the order. Gunnar Henderson is 0 for 3 on the night. And he continues to rip at the first pitch. He made outs on the first 2 pitches that he saw in the 1st and 2nd innings, struck out in the 5th. He's an emotional player, a guy that will show his emotions on the field. Gunnar Henderson has been known to break a thing or two in the dugout.
Sometimes it's all right to blow off a little steam every now and again.
The 1-1. Craig Alvarez says, look, I like the fire. I don't have a problem with that. But he said, well, we're going through the kind of injuries we're going through. I'm trying to tell these guys, hey.
That's a hard, trust me, it's hard to separate the issues you may be having on the field. And like I said, sometimes you got to blow the smoke off just a little bit.
Well, the one thing that Craig said about Gunnar Henderson is some guys, they come in and snap, break something, and then they go and sit at the end of the dugout and pout. He doesn't do that. No. He said he'll still be right up there on the top step talking, cheering his teammates on, but he just has that so much fire and emotion.
When you're seeing red sometimes, that's the last thing you think about is, you know, all my teammates that are hurt right now is not the first thing going through your head. It's I need to break something to feel a little bit better. But when you do, as long as you go back up to the top step or you get right back focused in, I don't have an issue with it.
Any former teammates of yours you want to mention that had that type of fire? I can think of a couple. I'm just asking you.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Gaddy strikes out the side in the 7th. Stretch time in Cleveland. Still no score. But that's the top of the order coming up for Cleveland. Bet365 scores from around the Central Division tonight. Royals blanked so far in the Bronx. Red Sox, Tigers no score halfway through in Beantown. They're just underway in Minneapolis, and the White Sox are out west taking on the A's. Stephen Kwan will lead it off for Cleveland here, bottom of the 7th inning. Craig Wolfram struck out Juan Brito to end the 6th. He'll stay on to work the 7th. Juan singled in the 3rd. He walked in the 5th. He reached third base in that 5th inning on a wild pitch, but Guardians have not been able to deliver the game-breaking hit. Neither has Baltimore. Both teams have had plenty of chances. The Orioles 0 for 9 with men on base tonight. The 1-2. Ground ball slowly chopped up the middle. Jeremiah Jackson can't come up with it. Lost it on the transfer, and Kwan is aboard to start the 7th.
You can see Kwan having to protect right there. That ball's kind of up the middle, takes a hop, kind of loses it there on the transfer. Looks like he might have picked his head up and tried to see or take a peek where Stephen Kwan was. See Wolfram not too enthused with his second baseman.
Pitch clock violation will give Chase DeLauder a ball to start his at bat.
Have you been surprised? We don't see a ton of those anymore. I feel like a lot of players have done a good job of getting accustomed to the speed and pace of the game.
Base hit left field, down the line it goes. Here comes Kwan. Around second, on his way to third. They'll hold him there, and Chase DeLauder has set him up in the 7th with a key double.
Well, you can see, I mentioned earlier in the game, I saw a foul ball to the left side of the field. That's staying on the baseball. We have not seen Chase DeLauder do that much the last few games. That is such a beautiful swing right there, and something
Chris,
that can absolutely get you.
If it doesn't hit right there, goes all the way down the line.
You're right.
That's a run scored.
You're absolutely right.
The intentional walk to Jose Ramirez loads him up for Kyle Manzardo. Foul, first base side. Kyle 1 for 3 on the night. The Guardians, however, 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and that one hit was delivered by Manzardo in the first inning, but it loaded the bases. It did not get a run home. A hit here would surely get Cleveland on the board. He's down 0-2.
The nice thing, though, in this situation, with nobody out, the bases loaded, you don't necessarily need a base hit. You'd love to have one. But finding a way to put something in play here, forcing this defense to make a play in some fashion with the infield in, those holes there just get a little bit bigger. So get something in the outfield, that works as well.
Struck him out. One away.
I mean, you can't really do much about this. This is about as perfect of a pitch as you could ask for. 0-2 there. You can see Kyle Manzardo trying to figure out a way to get some part of that barrel on that bat.
Well, we've got a timeout for yet another pitching change. Bases still loaded with 1 out in the 7th.
That's simple human sense.
That's simple human sense.
Score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the whole season covered. Visit MLBshop.com/Guardians, the official source for your Guardians gear.
We are in the bottom of the 7th inning. No score in this game. New pitcher for Baltimore, right-hander Anthony Nunez. Craig Alvarez only has one lefty in his bullpen. He has used his southpaw, so righties the rest of the way for the O's. Guardians have George Valera, left-handed bat, and Brian Rocchio, switch hitter, on the bench. He opts to stay here with Rhys Hoskins, who is 1 for 2 with a walk tonight. Hoskins popped up on the first pitch he saw with the bases loaded and 1 out in the first inning.
Well, if the Guardians are going to score in this inning, they're going to have to do it against Anthony Nunez, who has been pretty much unhittable.
Fastball by him. It's 1-1.
8 2/3 innings pitched, 11 punch-outs, just a 1 ERA. This young man has been really good this year so far.
Well, last year, granted it was minor league baseball, but he went from A-ball to AAA, pitching for both the Mets and then the Orioles. He struck out 83 batters in 56 innings of work.
He's currently Baltimore's number 25 prospect in their organization.
25, huh? 2 down.
Means they got some good ones, apparently. Well, you're going to see it. This is his out pitch right here. Here's the slider. Sharp, tight breaking ball. There's some great depth to that pitch. That's a strike for 9/10 of the way to the plate, and the bottom falls out.
Daniel Schneemann got a high fastball, couldn't get to it. 97.
I love the Guardians' 6 hits tonight. 5 of them have been to the opposite way.
Rock to deep right field. Goodbye.
That's one way to have an inherited run score, huh? Holy smokes, what a swing by Daniel Schneemann. You deserve that helmet.
Last year, it was May 3rd in Toronto when Daniel Schneemann rocked a grand slam. He's got his second career salami, and it puts Cleveland on top 4-0 here in the 7th inning.
Boy, was that a big hit at the right time. That's picking up your teammates right there. We made mention Anthony Nunez has yet to give up an earned run.
Deep center, Tavares back, and he will make the catch to retire the side. Free Schnee.
What a swing.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
With a light, it's Miller time.
Well, just like that, one swing of the bat. And Daniel Schneemann has made it a 4-0 Guardians lead as we go now to the 8th inning. Orioles had gone 19 games. Baltimore had gone 19 games without allowing an inherited run to score. And wouldn't you know it, it was an error to start the inning. So the 3 runs charged to Craig Wolfram are unearned runs because of that error.
Well, Daniel Schneemann's not only made a few really nice defensive plays tonight, he's certainly proven his worth at the plate as well.
Hunter Gaddis was sensational in the 7th inning, retiring all 3 Orioles hitters, striking out the side through 12 pitches. Taylor Ward, Pete Alonso, and Dylan Beavers due up here in the 8th.
And this is one of those situations you want to go right after.
Leadoff walk.
Well, if you like big hits, there's not many that get bigger than that one. You think he knew he got it? I think so. Absolute bomb right there. Stephen Kwan loves it. Everybody in this ballpark loves it.
23,988 of them on a beautiful Friday night. And Pete Alonso takes a. I'm a little surprised there was no challenge there.
It was really close.
That hit him. And now Armstrong's in trouble right out of the gate here.
That's certainly not the ideal start you want to an inning when your offense just threw up 4 runs, but this 2-seamer looks like it just runs a little bit there. Gets Pete, looks like on that back forearm. Cannot feel good.
Well, Carl Willis going to go out and try and get Shawn Armstrong settled down here, and we'll get a word from Levin.
Where can you get the guaranteed lowest prices on the top mattress brands for life? Only one place, Levin.
Guardians have Eric Sabrowski up in the bullpen. You got the left-handed hitting Dylan Beavers, left-handed hitting Samuel Basayo. You kind of feel like Sabrowski's going to come in and face Basayo.
For sure. I mean, he has to face Beavers to satisfy the 3-batter rule. But Basayo hitting just .083 against lefties. It seems like that would be the prime target.
The 1-0.
This might be one of those situations you try throwing a breaking ball, see if it gets Shawn Armstrong back in that arm slot that he needs.
You can probably behind the plate almost feel the pitcher squeezing the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, I think Carl sensed that as well. That's why he went out there and made a trip. Again, now you try to use that nice 3-1 execution right there. Find that arm slot. Try to repeat right here.
Well, he's doing 3 strikes out of 13 pitches. And that's going to bring out Stephen Vogt. And Eric Sabrowski is coming on when we come back.
Did you know?
Tickets are on sale for the second Cleveland Gardens Charities 50-50 raffle. One lucky winner will take home half the prize. The other half will benefit Cleveland Guardians Charities and support more than 15,000 youths in the Cleveland area. The raffle runs through April 29th. Get your tickets now at CLEGuardians5050.com.
Well, this is a... you gave us the numbers, right? But I'm still really surprised that Samuel Basayo will not bat here. Instead, Jonathan Rodriguez will hit. They want the right-handed bat against Sabrowski. He swings and lines it to right field. DeLauder makes the catch. Tagging up, coming home is Ward. Throw goes to the cutoff man. The Orioles are on the board. And Sabrowski gets the first out of the inning.
Well, I will say this for J-Rod, that was a pretty darn good swing coming off the bench.
Yeah, he was 0 for 3 last night, struck out twice, so he wasted no time.
If you're Eric Sabrowski, though, there's still some work to do.
Leody Taveras 1 for 3 on the night. Swing and a miss. You know, up to this point, Chris, you look at Shawn Armstrong and look at 9 games he's pitched to a 2.08 ERA. Nothing wrong with that, but he's kind of danced through the raindrops a little bit because 5 walks, 8 hits, so 13 base runners and 8+ innings. I mean, he knows that's something you can really sustain.
It's not sustainable.
And then you have a night like tonight, and you just go throw your hands up and go, what in the world? Now, where do I go from here, right?
And it's frustrating. The good thing is he is a veteran arm. He's had a really, really good career. He just, obviously tonight was a little bit of a struggle. I don't think that's, anything that we don't know, but generally those are the types of guys that you're going to trust. You're going to give them a little bit longer leash to figure it back out. Again, and if you're Shawn Armstrong, you're sitting there watching Eric Sabrowski, hoping and praying that he comes in and has been really as dominant as he has been all season. And that's a very lonely feeling right there.
Sabrowski has the sign from Bo. A check of the runners and the payoff pitch. And that's popped foul out of play. How you talk about a lonely feeling for a catcher? For a pitcher? What's the feeling for a catcher when one guy exits who threw 3 strikes out of 13 pitchers, and now the next guy comes in and now he's full count, Your wheels got to be spinning back there a little bit too.
Yeah, you're wondering if it's you at that point.
Ring him up. Taveras wants.
Pitch is called a strike. The batter's challenge.
He wants an appeal. He's appealed to a higher court. And he wins the challenge.
It is ball 4.
Oh my
Baltimore
goodness.
has 1 challenge remaining.
So now the bases are reloaded. The Orioles do not have a hit in the inning. 3 walks and a hit batter. A run in. And with 1 out, we'll get a pinch hitter for Colton Cowser as Weston Wilson comes to the plate. And now Carl Wilson out for another visit.
Well, again, this is one of those situations where you go out there, you explain exactly who the hitter is. These are the locations that we got, our safe zones. This is where we want to shy away from. You go out there, you get him with your best stuff and attack the strike zone right here. Another thing to remind him, you got a double play. Where is he going with the baseball? Is he coming home or is he going towards second base?
He saw some smiles from Sabrowski. That's the one thing I'm sure you know from experience. Carl Willis is going to try to keep it light.
Certainly will do that.
He's going to be serious, get his point
across. He's going to be firm, yes,
yeah.
but you understand he's out there, for a good cause, for a good reason. He's going to try to make light of the situation, and you can see him and Stephen Vogt probably asking, how did that go?
Weston Wilson is a guy who has a history of taking that first pitch and then getting after it on the second pitch.
And that's exactly something that Carl would go out there and say. He's almost going to give you a strike, but then you got to get nasty after that.
Borderline curveball a little high, 1-1. Drilled deep left. That's trouble off the top of the wall. 1 run will score. 2 runs are in. Throw to second. Not in time. It's a 1-run game. So the 3 runs that have scored charged to Sean Armstrong.
You can see this is the heart of the plate here. Great pitch to hit. Didn't think it was a homer. It didn't look like it was high enough to get out. Martinez played that ball off the wall, got it into Daniel Schneemann. And this plays pretty close there at second base. Give Wilson a ton of credit. Again, not an easy situation.
And Kobe Mayo takes ball 1.
And now, more importantly, the infield has to play in with just 1 out.
Both bullpens firing. A scoreless game into the bottom of the 7th. And a grand slam gave Cleveland a 4-0 lead, and now the Orioles have come right back with 1 hit, and they've scored 3 times. Go ahead run at second base. Chop foul. Tying run, Leody Taveras at third.
Although the situation looks bleak, that 2-1 swing right there gave me a little breath of fresh air. Again, you're trying to use the hitter's anxiety in this situation, his want to go out there and be aggressive against him. Keep him count back up. Even if you walk him in this situation, it's not the end of the world. It puts the double play in order. The number 9 hitter on deck. And this is not a dire situation, and that's hard to kind of relay to a pitcher. But you don't necessarily have to give in this situation is what the point I'm trying to get to.
Three balls and 2 strikes. It feels like it's been that way for every hitter. 8 balls, 8 strikes for Sabrowski. Swing and a miss. Whoa. Second out of the inning.
Well, that's just Eric Sabrowski saying, you know what, here it is. I'm coming at you. Here's the heater. Although it wasn't a strike, I mentioned earlier, hitter trying to be super aggressive in a situation like this.
Wow, we're going to get another pitching change. Timeout. Connor Brogdon, I believe, is coming in when we come back. Connor Brogdon on for the Guardians, 8th appearance of the year. There are 2 down in the inning. It's a 1-run game now. Tying run still at third. Go ahead run at second. Jeremiah Jackson, the batter. Jackson 0 for 3 on the night. First pitch of the inning for Cleveland pitchers. 13 strikes thrown. And that is hit high and deep and gone.
Well, that's one of the problems of getting yourself behind in the count to an aggressive hitter, albeit although the 9th hitter in the lineup, one of the hottest hitters in Baltimore's lineup this season.
Jeremiah Jackson, my goodness.
Well, there it is. Fastball down and in. He was waiting for it. He certainly did not miss it. Put a really good swing on it.
Jeremiah Jackson just days ago had the foul ball, the ill-fated foul ball that struck his manager, Craig Albernaz, fracturing his jaw. Came back, hit a grand slam in that game and another home run. An unbelievable comeback for the Orioles to win that game. And he just slugged a 2-out, 3-run homer to bring Baltimore back from a 4-0 deficit, and they lead it 6-4. A 6-run 8th inning. Up, shallow left, out goes Jose, calling for it, makes the catch. Damage done. 9 men to the plate, 6 score, guards down 2.
In recognition of their bravery and sacrifice for our armed forces, the Guardians have partnered with GovX to offer members of the U.S. military 15% off select tickets throughout the regular season. Visit cleguardians.com/military to learn more and to get your tickets today.
Defensive substitutions for Baltimore. Alan Sutter Field is number 23, Blake Alexander. And now catching number 31, Sam Hall.
Well, Bo Naylor will lead off here in the bottom of the 8th for Cleveland. Rico Garcia is the new pitcher for Baltimore. Guardians down 2. Garcia has not allowed a hit in 9 straight appearances to open the season.
Yeah, he's been arguably the best reliever on this Baltimore Orioles team, which this bullpen has been pretty good.
Yennier Cano, who already pitched tonight, set the franchise record when he pitched 9 straight games without allowing a hit back in 23. Bo Naylor, liner caught. 1 down.
And defensively, a few switches here for Baltimore. Huff behind the plate. Blaze Alexander now in center field. Leody Tavares moving over to right field. It is Sam Huff now behind the plate.
Juan Brito with 1 out here in the 8th. Swing and a miss. For a team and a franchise, really, that has grown accustomed to handing the lead to a bullpen after 6-7 innings and just putting money in the bank. The events of the last half inning are just stunning.
You're certainly right on that. Especially with, arguably the teeth of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Having most of that damage happen to.
Jeremiah Jackson. 3-run homer giving Baltimore the lead. Brito chops it back to the mound. And Rico with the flip. 2 down.
Now stepping up to the plate, the center fielder, number 38, Steven.
Last year, Rico Garcia spent time with the Mets, 8 games, Yankees, 1 game, and then caught on with Baltimore. Kind of hard to believe right after what he's done so far this year that
a team would give up on him.
People would pass on him that quickly. But sometimes during the course of a season, rosters being what they are, you get caught in a roster, you don't have a spot. Yeah.
You certainly see that happen before. Guardians pitchers, that top half of the 8th inning, 38 pitches, 22 balls. Again, just to kind of prove your point, you're certainly not used to at least seeing any reliever for the Cleveland Guardians go through a stretch like that.
Juan took a rip, fouled it back. Right back to him again. It goes off of his glove this time. And did he keep him off the bag? Yeah, he pulled him off the bag with a throw.
In real time, it certainly looked like he pulled his foot.
Baltimore will challenge.
Baltimore is challenging the safe call at first base.
He was clearly off. I'm surprised they challenged that because unless
it's the 8th inning.
It's that other foot, does the left foot come back on before Quan gets there? No, not even close.
He might have had a toe on there. This is a good look. It certainly looks like he's clearly off.
Yeah.
But if you're Baltimore, bottom half of the 8th inning, you can't take it with you.
Craig Albertaz was sharing with you and I before the game that even though he has all those fractures in his jaw and in his face,
you know what happened?
He's got nerve damage, and so because of the nerve issues, he can't feel a lot. Right. It's almost like he's numb.
Well, you know what happened when the home run was hit by Jeremiah Jackson? He started yelling, "Good job, JJ," and you could see him almost grab his face immediately. He got excited.
Saying that as well.
He got excited and started yelling, and he's been in pain since. He's been holding his face.
He said he can talk normal, but if he yells, that's when he feels it. So you're right, Dre. Good call, Dre.
We heard him say it, and we know him. He's a guy that likes to yell, and he got excited. Now you can just tell it's been bothering him since he did.
I've known him a long time, and I've never known him to be quiet.
He's never been quiet. That's why him and I got along.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Baltimore will retain their challenge.
Wow. What are they seeing that we didn't pick up on here? He's clearly off the base. That's an absolutely horrific call.
Fight together.
Ninth inning, 6-4, Baltimore. Connor Brogdon stays on to work tonight. A near no-hitter last night by Parker Messick. Took it into the ninth inning. And tonight, 7 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball turned in by Cleveland pitching. And then in the 8th inning, poof. It all went away, and
the dam broke.
Orioles scoring 6 times on 2 hits. 3 walks and a hit batter. Set it all up. An RBI double and a 3-run homer. Mix in a sac fly, and Baltimore scoring 6 times to overcome a 4-0 deficit.
I think now, Connor Brogdon in particular, it's just so imperative to keep the score where it is. You've got the heart of your lineup coming up here in the bottom half of the 9th inning.
The first baseman.
Keeping that score where it is at least keeps you, within shouting distance here.
Pete Alonso, 2 hits. Right field, DeLauder, 2 down.
Now batting for Baltimore, the designated hitter, number 12, Dylan B.
Free base runners have been the undoing of countless relievers in the history of this game. Make them earn their way on, that's one thing. If Brogdon can get the final out here without allowing Baltimore to tack anything else on, then the Guardians have DeLauder, Ramirez, Manzardo coming up in the bottom of the ninth. So they'll take their best shot. Ryan Helsley will try to save it for the Birds, I would imagine.
It certainly won't be an easy task.
No, but the last time the Guardians saw him, Chris, we were in New York. He just got traded over from St. Louis to the Mets, and he had a bad day against Cleveland. So maybe it's a little bit more magic.
You never know.
I know he gets it up to 100, but
in the hole, base hit.
Did he take his first step towards the bag?
He did. He did.
Okay.
And you can see this is a great view. First step up toward the bag.
Look how much you got by him, man.
Number 31, Sam Huff.
I think initially he thought that ball was going to kick a little bit more towards second base off the bat. and realize that as he's taking the step in, I may be able to get there.
I know you played a little first to help out. That's one of those plays I think is hard for us to understand. You don't know if it's far enough to your right that you need to get to the backs and let the second baseman get to it, and you got to make that decision so quick.
You definitely do. And again, so much of that play happens pre-pitch. It's just understanding, knowing, constantly looking every pitch, where is my second baseman?
Sam Huff is only at bat so far tonight and in the series. Fouled back. Struck him out to end the inning. Last chance for the Guardians. Down 2 coming up. It'll be DeLauder, Jose, and Manzo against Helsley for Baltimore. (6-4) Baltimore. Bottom of the 9th inning. And Ryan Helsley will try to close it for the O's. How important is the first pitch for Ryan Helsley? Well, last year, when that first pitch was ball 1, opponents batted .330 against him. When it was strike 1, they hit .181.
Not much has changed in that sense. Ryan Helsley has been significantly better. You know, we all know what happened to him last year after the trade from the St. Louis Cardinals to the New York Mets.
Ball 1 to Chase DeLauder. Chase is 1 for 3 with a double and a run score.
Obviously an extremely important at bat for Chase here, but for a multitude of reasons.
Popped in the air. Center field. Blaze Alexander makes the catch. 1 down.
Again, it's just so vitally important here to make sure it's strike 1. I mean, Jose's now in that position. He understands the situation. He's been here multiple times. Your job is to move the line right now. A solo home run, albeit great, still doesn't put you where you need to be.
Outside, 2-0.
Facing 2 lefties to start the inning here. Ryan Helsley has been better this year against left-handed hitters. And a little bit of a reverse splits so far early on. Again, not a lot of, or small sample size. And even with 100 in the tank, Jose's still not seeing fastballs.
Fouled right back. (6-4) Baltimore. Bottom of the 9th. Jose, they've walked him 3 times. He lays off full count.
And the one he sees is about a foot high and 102. I fully expect something soft here.
In the dirt, he was not going to give him anything he could hit. And you know what, I asked Craig about that before the game. If it was any different preparing for a team when, A, you know them as baseball players, but you also know the human that's underneath that jersey. And he said, I can't let that interfere with the information I get. If I start getting into that kind of stuff, then I'm giving my players too much information.
Right.
He said, I've just got to kind of remove myself from that part of the equation.
No doubt. And it also, it clouds his mind. You know, you wouldn't do that in a normal game situation in the sense of, okay, making a pitching change to face this person. You cannot get caught up in the emotional side of things, just knowing the player. You have to kind of play it as you see it.
Helsley finds the strike zone there. It's 1-1. Now, having said all that, I'm sure he was able to still convey the message. Hey, number 11 for the other guys.
He's pretty good.
Do not allow him to beat us. The 1-1. Boy, that was nasty.
And that's, again, what having 100+ miles an hour in the tank will do.
He's sitting on 100, and that thing just kind of floated in there at 89 miles an hour.
Nice
which
split. Again, you know, Ryan Helsley's split is so much different than Cade Smith's. Cade Smith's has depth, a little bit more knuckle to it. This is a little bit more of like a changeup.
Struck him out. 2 down.
Oh, there's the split. That's a prototypical split finger right there. You can see that thing not really knuckling. There's still a little bit of spin to it, just kind of fading down and away. Perfect location.
Last hope for the Guardians will be a pinch hitter, George Valera. He'll hit for Reese Hoskins. Back out of play. First pitch slider.
You know, so many times too as a pinch hitter, you know, you're up there expecting a guy, okay, especially he's got 100 miles an hour in the tank, and he throws a first pitch breaking ball or a split like that on you. It's hard. Do you want to be aggressive as a pinch hitter, knowing the pitcher's there, try to get ahead of you? Some of that cat and mouse game you play with yourself.
And the 1-1, a big bouncer to second. Jeremiah Jackson. He put Baltimore ahead for good with the home run. He finishes it with a perfect throw to first. And the Orioles come back from a 4-0 deficit to even the series at a game apiece with a 6-4 win here tonight.
This is a tough one all the way around. You know, you talked about it. This bullpen has been so good. We are so accustomed to seeing them come in and just absolutely slam the door on teams. It's a little bit of shell shock here in that clubhouse, I think. This is one of those ones that you're going to remember for a while. But as Stephen Vogt and company says, you have to turn the page as fast as you possibly can because you got another one tomorrow.
Yeah, there's no question about it. But you know, you're up 4 going into the 8th inning. Those are games you expect to win.
No doubt. And those are games you're probably going to win 9 times out of 10. Just happen to be one of one. And give Baltimore credit. You know, they made Shawn Armstrong work in the initial part of that 8th inning.
Yeah, he set it up. 2 walks and a hit batter. He left with the bases loaded, having thrown 3 strikes out of 13 pitches. Eric Sabrowski came on, got a sac fly, got the first out, then a walk, a double before he got the second out of the inning. And then Connor Brogdon came on, and Jeremiah Jackson jumped him, a 3-run homer to the bleachers, and just like that, it was a 6-run inning for Baltimore. So that's the final tonight from Progressive Field. Stay tuned now for Guardians postgame. Al Pawlowski and Cody Allen will take you home. We'll be back tomorrow night with Game 3 of this 4-game affair.